Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Man of Thought. This is a Sunday night section, and I will just be live for a moment, have few discussions if people are going to be joining me live, and then we just rub mind and see what happens. Earlier this evening, I I had a live stream from StreamYard. And while I had the live stream, I never knew the video wasn't playing. My camera was just hanging and the rest of it. And I think it's approximately 7. I was having a live show earlier today and it wasn't working fine. The audio was fine, but the video, the camera was not showing up. And we were having some discussions before I was being told. Hello, Mr. Rusty. Thanks for being here. Yeah. So I'm just back to touch on few of the conversations that we left earlier. And trust me, at this moment, there is no light, there is no electricity. I don't know what happened, but it has been raining heavily since morning. Yeah, since morning, even since yesterday. So today tends to be Sunday, and they refuse to bring the light. Most times we have issues like this um, when it's raining. I've heard that in the US, in the UK, it doesn't matter how it's raining, what's the storm, and it's because, and it basically because I think, according to what I've heard, I've not been there. They say most of the wiring or electricity are underground, and if it's underground, you guys will most likely not have issues like us. So I can put on the lights, most of the light, and everywhere to be bright, but I just decide if it's not the electric stuff, let me just leave it. I'm just using my solar to work a little bit. Power cuts occasionally. Okay. You know, the beautiful thing about Nigerians who find themselves in the UK or US, they will tell us that, they will tell we that we are in Nigeria, that they have never been electricity cut off or any situations that has to do with electricity ever since they've been in the UK, even in the US. And we that we have not been there, we have to believe them. We have to believe whatever lies they tell us, and if it is true, they will tell us 24/7 light and days and all of that. But the only interest for us as Nigerians or as people is to make sure that our place also gets better and it is okay for people. So you said yes, but we have power cuts occasionally. So that's true. And then you said where there is a fault with the power grid, areas affected lost power. Okay, okay, that's fine. Today I will touch on few things. Earlier we were discussing on the things that were going on with the churches. We talked about the fraudulent things that are going on in the churches and people not having the understanding that a lot of pastors lie. And every single time I talk about this, I am actually focusing on the African perspective because I understand that religion is not our thing. And so when we speak about it, most people might get it wrong. They might not really understand where I'm coming from. They might think, oh, maybe this guy is against religion completely. I'm not against religion completely. I'm against the fraud in religion that is happening in Africa. And specifically, when you look at the recent one that happened with this pastor, E.A. Adeboye, who told his church member to be paying tithe and offering so they can make heaven. Oh, enlightened one. Long time no see. My wife actually asked of you. She said it's been a while. She has even probably watched any of my clips and see the enlightened one. And I said, enlightened one might most likely be very busy at the moment. I actually had few things that I felt okay. Now we can discuss on some things because I've discovered some application that I would like you to. Um, I will discuss about those applications on the YouTube space and how we can work on it. I will do that later. Yeah, I understand, and I could see what is actually going on when it comes to the aspect like most of the US or everything that is happening in the world right now is focused on the US election, and that's exactly the most trending topic at the moment. Every conversation is going on US election and the rest of it. So that's fine. I was saying something. I was discussing something about I don't know if the enlightened one is aware of it, but maybe I just rephrase it. I have a few other subjects that we can touch on. I have a few other subjects that I would like to touch on today. If voting was meaningful, they will not let anyone. Yeah. Okay. So part of the things I was saying earlier today, I made a biblical subject, and we discussed extensively on tithe and offering that Pastor E.A. Adeboye told his church members that tithe and offering is what they can use to get to heaven. So if you keep paying your tithe and offering, there's a possibility that you will make heaven. Hanging in there, brother. Okay. And then, after he's 82 years of age, he decided to change his stance. And he changed his stance saying that you don't have to pay tithe and offering. Probably he has a premonition, probably he has a revelation, and he says we don't have to pay tithe and offering to make heaven. So he changed the narration. So he changed the narration when he's 82 years of age. And I said, one of the most greatest pastor in Nigeria, who has been so respected for over 40 years when he started the ministration, talking about the religion stuff, how come he does not know that paying tithe and offering does not indicate that anyone is going to make heaven? I was preaching early this morning. Why use the word preach? Yeah, I was just ministering in my own ministration. While I was having a few conversation, I was like, how do you think that tithe and offering is a ticket to heaven? Is this how we have lowered our standard of thinking as humans, specifically to Nigerians? Specifically to Nigerians. And when he said all these statements, I was like, okay, you have been collecting tithe and offering from your people for over 40 years. Now you say that the Lord told you that collecting tithe and offering is not the way to make heaven. How could those people still have belief in you? How can they still trust you that what you're saying is true? Now you are actually 82 years of age. Most likely, you might have been seeing your ancestors in the dream, and so you are making a decision to change your stance. And then, when this man would further with the conversation, he said, tithe and offering is not is not the way to go to heaven, but it doesn't matter. You can begin to pay your tithe as much as 20%, 30%, 40%, 50%. This is Pastor E.A. Adeboye. I think he's known in many countries. So he says if he doesn't want the other church or other pastors to start discussing much on the subject, so he says any church that does not accept tithe and offering, go to another church where they accept tithe and offering and pay to that church. That was what he told his member, that it is not a must, but you can pay as much as 20%, 30%, 40%, 50%. Now, when you go into the Bible, which I did this morning, and I read a little bit of the scripture, I talked about righteousness, um, I spoke about holiness, I spoke about tithe and offering. Okay, good evening, Samuel Yekwere. Please, you people should give me a break. I need to attend to something with Mr. Samuel Yekwere. And please, I would also need people's advice on this or people's research on this. Now, Samuel Yekwere, what actually happened is I called a few of my friends that work in the bank, and I made a little bit of research also from certain people that I can. The conversation we had yesterday when you said the people in the Western culture pays Nigeria annually 20, oh, you said $20 billion. Wow. I was even correcting Rusty and telling Rusty that you said $20 million revenue. I said because the $20 billion is impossible. And so while I make some of those research, um, Rusty also makes some of the research. I made few calls and the rest of it, it was actually not true. It was actually not true. Now, what they said is that Nigerians in diaspora are sending money to their families in Nigeria based off the list of transactions to help them build a house, to help them build schools, to help them invest in different business. But there is no aspect of any side of the government, both the senators, both the governors, both the president, there is no aspect of where Nigerian in diaspora are paying money into the Nigerian government or Senate or Nigerian purse, that they pay $20 million or $20 billion. So that wasn't true. We make all the old research. Every research possible, we make a lot of calls. And so I said, then we saw the particular site you were talking about. There was a site you actually posted where you said they are paying that 20 billion, and you saw it on Google. We saw the site, but it's not actually true. You can even check when they created the site. The site has not stayed for more than maybe 5 years or so. So it was just something someone listed and it showed up on Google. It does not have any backup to it. There is no account. It was just a lie. So I was saying, I know I have made it today. Whenever Samuel Query comes, I will be making $100. So right now, my expectation is just to see it loading. Rusty said, I hope Sam is not might not be speaking. I said no, he would speak up because I believe Samuel Yekwere would meet up and would do exactly as he says. So, do you have any other question? And I can put it out to the audience. We can put it out to the audience for them to also look into it. But I've done all the whole research. I've done all the whole research. There is no space at all where Nigerian government, Senate, or people where we collect any money as $20 million or $20 billion from the Nigerians in diaspora. There's no such thing that happens. So case, according to Rusty says case closed. So like I was saying earlier, I hope Samuel Yekwere, let's give Samuel Yekwere some time to do the do. So I was talking earlier about the church, and I was like, there should be a lot of questions that should have popped out from the minds of the people that goes to Pastor E. Adeboye's church, because he has millions of members in different places. He has millions of members who follows him. My question would have been, what is the possible solution for us to stop these men of God defrauding Africans who are actually suffering? And a lot of them do not see it that they are suffering simply because there's an expectation of miracle. When people are so frustrated, the only best thing you can give to them is hope. Okay, Samuel Yekwere says, you are absolutely correct, but you and your friends don't understand economics. Diasporans around the world don't remit money directly to the government. The money sent to Nigeria gets in circulation. Well, I wouldn't want to argue such things with you again. I would just want to move on to the conversation. Since I was born and now I am getting old, there have never been a time in my entire life that I fought with any human being basically because the person owes me money. So you can decide to change the English and turn it upside down and mingle it and do it somewhere. You can do it as you like. I am not going to ask you. I'm not a person who would ever fight because of money. So Babu Wala. At least Rusty was actually telling me. Rusty was actually telling me that he's not sure if Sam is going to speak, but I was like telling Rusty, like I will give him let's give him. What's happening to my this thing? Let's give him a benefit of a doubt. But you see, that is one of the problem of Nigeria. when a lot of people in diaspora, and please, when I say this, I'm not talking to everybody, I'm just talking to specific people, those who are concerned. When somebody is out of Nigeria and they're in the diaspora, and they begin to say that the problem of Nigeria is the politics of Nigeria, if they say the problem of Nigeria is because the government are bad leaders and the rest of it, I keep insisting that the problem of the country is the people, not the leaders, because the leaders came from the people. And so, even most of those people who go there, who turn back to their country and say that, oh, Nigerians are acting like they are in kingdom of animal or animal kingdom. I'm like, well, if you come from Nigeria and you go to the Western culture, you are also an animal because you came from the kingdom of animals. And so you can see the system whereby we say things that we don't mean. We mean things that we don't say. We promise things that we can't keep. And then we expect our leaders to do otherwise. You said it yesterday that the government, the people in the diaspora always send $20 billion to the Nigerian Senate. I was even arguing with you. I said, is it Nigerian governors? Is it the Nigerian government? You said the diasporas, Nigerians in diasporas, are giving $20 billion to the Nigerian Senate to make it circulate among all Nigerians. And I'm like, there is no data to prove that. I ask you, do you have any account? Where are they remitting the money to? And you said I should go ahead to do the and now I made a lot of findings and I came back to you and I proved it that there is no circulation of money, or Nigerians in diaspora do not pay any $20 billion to the Nigerian Senate. And now you said you begin to twist it. You are twisting it like Bola Ahmed Tinubu, our current president in Nigeria. And now you would say Nigeria is a zoo. Zule zoo. You say, when money gets in circulation, it enhances the economy of the nation. Ask what remittance of money does to a nation. India, diasporas like others. Please, Rusty, let's not bother ourselves on discussing about things like this. Let's not discuss about things like this. Let Mr. Samoye Query still be. I'm quoting you wrong. Maliko Sondaya. So you think that I am so illiterate, or you think I'm living with the monkeys, or I am eating with the baboons, that I don't know common English, or I do not have a dictionary, or I cannot interpret what you said. Hmm? You think I'm a baboon? I live in the zoo. This is the reason why when people are trying to bring Nigerians down, you see, when it comes to people who tends to be in the other world, like other foreigners and the rest of it, I try to listen to their points. I try to understand where they are coming from. I was like, maybe they are seeing a possibility of what Nigerians could do and the country can become a better country. Maybe there's a possibility. But when I hear Nigerians in the diaspora begin to criticize Nigeria, I'm like, wow. And I asked you a question before it was raining heavily and my network had issue. I was asking you yesterday before I went offline. I said that if Nigeria gets better, is there a possibility that most Nigerians in diaspora will be willing to come back to Nigeria? I asked that question before the network went off. I said, if Nigeria becomes a great country, do you think most of the Nigerians in diaspora will be willing to come back? And your answer was many Nigerians will be willing to come back. And I'm like, now that the country is very difficult, now that the country is going towards its challenges, most of you are running out of the country and insulting the country, calling it a zoo, calling it all kinds of names, calling it whatever. In fact, the opinions of a lot of people in the diaspora are more than the opinions of the people that are actually in Nigeria. And some people will come back to the country and they look at every other person like we are inferior and they are superior simply because they have the lifestyle of those in the Western culture. Well, let's let the sleeping dog lie. Let's just leave him. I'm not used to this idea of talking money, 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 something. It's not my style. It doesn't work for me. Now, like I was saying, let me go back to part of the conversation I had. Um, be fast now, you open. Okay, that's one of it. So I was asking a question, and I said, if E.A. Adeboye had said certain things that are not true to his people, why can't the members? I said there are few questions that should rise up in the minds of the members of Pastor E.A. Adeboye. And I said one of it should be, why did Pastor Adeboye initially say offering was the way to heaven, and what made him change his stance? Number two, how does this new focus on righteousness align with biblical teachings? And number three, is there any scripture that supports or refutes the idea that offering or tithing leads to heaven? Number four, what does righteousness really mean in this context? Is it based on faith, actions, or both? Number six, what about those who have been faithfully giving their tithe and offering based on the previous teachings? Should they feel misled? Number seven, could these new statements cause confusion among believers regarding the importance of giving in the church? So, there are so many things that I pointed out to. But unfortunately, most times when I'm live, a lot of people might not be joining me basically because of the difference in our time. So I wanted to ask few questions. There was a particular conversation that actually went on, and today I've been talking about the idea that Nigeria, I think things are getting worse in Nigeria. I think things are getting worse in Nigeria. And when I say the things like I think things are getting worse in Nigeria, I'm not talking about the economical things. Trust me, I'm not looking at the economical things. You know why? I strongly believe that Nigeria will be a great country. I have no doubt in my heart that the country will be a great country. The only thing that worries me about Nigerian country as a country is that there are certain things that we are beginning to imbibe that are more destructive to the people. not the economic crisis. Economic crisis, we have been facing the hardship of Nigeria for over 40 years. We have been facing the hardship of Nigeria for countless of years. So we are kind of used to the hardship of the country, and there's a possibility that the country will be great. I believe in it. I have seen people who came from nothing and they built a lot of things. The problem is like, okay, we want every other person, every average Nigerian to be able to experience all these great things. It doesn't mean I'm flourishing in money, but I think there's a possibility that the country will be great. But the problem is that a lot of things are coming into the country that are disgusting. One of it is the alphabetical order people. I can see alphabetical order people coming into the country, and the idea is coming like a virus. At least as I speak to you right now, there are about, if not 10 or 20 of celebrities who tend to be more or less like the alphabetical people. These ones are traditional alphabetical people. And you know the problem about Nigeria? Whatever Nigeria hold on to, we always excel at it. So you can see there's a guy at the moment they call Bobby Risky. Bobby Risky would dress in an attire of a traditional and cultural person, but his mentality and his ideology is alphabetical. And it worries me as a person. And I think that if Africa begins to go down this drain and we begin to have people who start believing and taking this ideology, I think that the country will be worst. Because such ideology is actually a virus. I do not know how people see it over in the Western culture. I respect people for what they are in the Western culture. But in the African sense, it doesn't work with us. And some people will say, oh, certain people are born with it, certain people are born this way and the rest of it. Yes. Certain people are born with it basically because there was a problem before they had to come up in that way. You have to ask yourself a question. Look at it from the idea of what are people feeding? What are people eating? And don't you think that if you actually create an institution that encourages stuff like that, a lot of people will get confused and begin to go into that drain? So one of those problems actually affects me, and when I look at people and I'm like saying in my mind, these are the only people I can see in time that are succeeding financially. And when they are succeeding financially, a lot of people who are suffering, when a man is hungry, when people are starving, and they begin to see that people who are going into the alphabetical mentality are making money from it, at least it is a perception they are selling to us. And if they keep selling those perceptions to people that they are doing well, then you will see many people that start going in towards that place. And that's a problem. It is a big problem. I don't know the solution. I don't know if there's a possibility for us to stop it, because even our laws are against it. That if you are an alphabetical person and you pronounce it in Nigeria that you are an alphabetical person, you will be going to jail. The problem is, even these people now have godfather in the political space. And that is how it used to start. Once they start getting into the political thing, then drama begins to unfold. And I've seen we have over 10 people who I know that are into the alphabetical kind of thing. They did not say it with their mouths, but they call them cross-dresser. And we cannot deny that we don't know that that is what they represent. And it's just a virus. It's not like it eats the economy. It's like it destroys people's mentality when it is being accepted. Because first of all, most people will move from that and they begin to have money, and they start making choices of, I want to change my body. Changing my body, men that are supposed to take care of the next generation with their wife, they begin to put in money to create a breast for themselves, and begins to make certain changes in their body, and that is what the money begins to go for. And then to reverse whatever they've done becomes difficult. And then it trickles down to the next generation. And so we are going to have a lot of sick people. And when I use the word sick people, not just sick people that they are ill, like they can't stand up. I mean sick people that they are sick and they can't think. And the nation is going to turn upside down. It is just a matter of time. Rusty says, I could argue Nigerians might not want to circulate the money and want to save it. You lost the bet just by me saying that. Samuel Yekwere says that when government publish their GDP account, you will see diasporans remittance as part of government revenue generation, not just oil sales. No diasporans around the world send money to the government. How? Samuel Yekwere, if you actually want to argue this to see if I would win you or you will win me, send $20. Hold the $80. Send $20. I would leave this conversation and go into other things and bring out more things to show to you that everything you are talking about doesn't make sense. It doesn't attribute to the Nigerian economy. Is it good for you if you walk outside the country and you bring that money to Nigeria, and you are building houses in Nigeria and you are buying property in Nigeria, and you think that the money you are investing from diaspora and you are bringing it to Nigeria to build a house or to build a school or to build something, let's just use it as maybe a hospital building or stuff like that. Do you think that that particular money is going towards the Nigerian economy? Because for you to think of that, the question is this: what are Nigerians actually producing? The cement, the block, the what do you call it? The PVC, the POP, the paint, the woods. Too many things in Nigeria are imported. Too many things in Nigeria are imported. The irons, everything, the tiles, the kitchen cabinets, whatever we are using in Nigeria are being imported. We are importing it from another country. So how does it benefit our economy? It does not benefit our economy. That money is benefiting the economy of those people that we are importing those products from to Nigeria. If it was benefiting our economy, dollars would not be 1,500 at the moment. $1 is equal 1,500 naira. If you are actually bringing those 20 something billions to Nigeria and it's helping our economy, why would 1,500 be $1? How is our economy growing? Shouldn't $1 be maybe 300 naira at the moment? You see, many people are so used to the theory side of life that they think that theory is always reality. This might be somebody who changed their name following the Messiah. Hello man, it is me again, but it is late now, I need to sleep. May Jesus be with you. Don't forget to pray to him before you sleep. God bless you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I appreciate. There are people who make decisions to just share good news or to share, just to encourage people. I appreciate. So, Samuel Kwere, there is no point. And if Nigeria is so great, like you're saying, because I had a conversation with you yesterday, and you said that Nigerians are being kidnapped. Nigerians in diaspora are being kidnapped in Nigeria. And I'm like, wow, how do you have such information? Just because Nigeria lambasts information and tell people that, oh, this country is bad and stuff, and you take that information and you say, oh, Nigerians in diaspora, when they come home, they are being kidnapped. And I ask you, how many of them are being kidnapped? How many can we show that you have the facts and you have the evidence that they are being kidnapped? And look at the number of the people that are outside the countries, Nigerians that are in diaspora. Do the comparison. Look, here talk to an accountant. Whenever money exchange earns its benefits, the nation, it's simple economics 101 in the university. Hey, I have something I wanted to share with you guys today. And this particular statement came from one of my brother in Nigeria. And he made the question, and this is part of the things that I thought of. I don't know if people would be willing to give their own opinion. And I would like you to share your opinion on it. Mr. Samuel Kwere, you've lost the battle. Whatever you're talking about when it comes to the money thing, just let it be. Just let it be. When you're trying to over-defend yourself, it makes me want to go back into the conversation and the rest of it. But let's let it go. At least we have established one thing. The money is not going into the Nigerian Senate and it's not going into the Nigerian government, right? You say it's still coming to Nigeria, B? So Nigerians don't send money abroad. And Nigerians not sending money abroad. Most of our governments, most of our governors, most of our senators, most of our presidents, most of our companies in Nigeria, are they not sending money abroad? Are they not hiding money and stealing it and taking it abroad? Billions, billions of naira, billions of naira. They keep doing it. Is that helping the economy of those countries simply because Nigerian governments are stealing the money of Nigeria and sending it out of the country? So if you send your money from US or UK or Canada and you send it to Nigeria, does it mean it's helping the economy of Nigeria when you are specifically using it to build something for yourself, knowing fully well that majority of the things you are going to use to build that particular property comes from a different country? Nigerians import even the food that they eat. Nigerians are importing even the food they eat, and then you are saying all kinds of English and grammar theory and all those kind of stuff. You guys cannot see. There is education, and education comes with many institutions. Most institutions establish education. There is knowledge, there is wisdom. You see, one primary thing, you can't teach people wisdom. You can educate people through institution, and they might have knowledge and they might be able to comprehend understanding a little bit. But true knowledge of life does not come from institution, does not come from the books you read. It comes from the experience of life. And wisdom also comes beyond. In fact, you can never teach people wisdom. So whatever definition and defense you're trying to put out, you've lost. And I wouldn't want to finish the words of my mouth because I have other opinion, but I don't find it cool. I said I wanted to say something, and I would have loved to continue on that conversation. First of all, a brother of mine in Nigeria said something. And one of the things he said was he was giving a little bit narration, a bit of story, talking about one of the issues that is going on in the country. He says that most men may get a woman, and when they do get a woman, they make decisions to help that woman, maybe financially, but they want to have a relationship with her. And then when they give her money, after they have intercourse, they give her money to get contraception. And when the lady does not use the contraception and she becomes pregnant, that it should be an offense. That it should be an offense that a woman who goes to sleep with a man and the man gives her money for contraception and she does not use it, and she has a child for the man, after the man says, I'm paying you so I don't want to have a child by you, that it should be an offense and women should be arrested for doing that. It is, I have my opinion, I have my thought around it, and I will share mine, but I'm also willing to ask myself or to ask the audience, what are your thoughts about such statements? What are your opinions about such statements? Should it be an offense that when you give a woman money for contraception and she does not go and get contraception and she becomes pregnant and have a child, should a woman be arrested for it? Should it be an offense, or is it an offense in the Western culture? Is it an offense in the Western culture? Can someone be penalized, or is it a criminal offense? I don't know if we will call it criminal or civil. If it is an offense, please let me know. I would like to hear if it is an offense or if it is what should be criminalized. Sam, when that farmer gets a gift from his family, okay. He's talking about what Samuel Yekweri said. Sam will keep debating you. There is no end to this conversation. There is no end to the conversation. He's just trying to wriggle out of it. He already did. He didn't send the money, so he already did. You don't want to own his word. Rusty, I don't know your level of education. Talk to a university graduate. Amazing. It seems our conversation would always flow around this Samoyekwere thing. While we are trying to move forward, Samuel Yekwere is still dragging us backward. Let's just let him be. Okay, let me give Samuel Yekwere, since he asked a question about education. Let us put it in this perspective. He said, talk to a university graduate. Does a university graduate, does it mean that they can, at least what you might be implying is that a university graduate has the answer to some of the questions that Rusty is saying. And what we are talking about is about the country, Nigeria. And you spoke about the government yesterday. You said money goes to the account of the Senate. You used the word Senate. And I was asking, is it the president? Is it the governor? And you said it goes to the Senate. And I said the Senate are part of the government. So let us simplify it this way. And now you said university graduate. So my question would have been that, do you think that you are also a graduate that can explain it better to us? And if so, can you give us an advice that can help Nigeria economy? Do you have any information that can be helpful to Nigeria economy, that if we implement it, you believe that the country is going to get better? Mr. Samuel Yekwere. Mr. Samuel Yekwere, do you think as a graduate you have the solution to Nigerians' problem? And if you give us this advice, it would help the Nigeria economy. If so, what is the advice you can give to Nigeria economy or to Nigerians that can help our economy as a university graduate? Because a university graduate must imply that they have solution to all the problem of the world, because they are more informed and more educated, even in the world of technology and in the world of information. Thanks for joining, Eniron. I've been asking few questions, but we have been having certain things that are dragging us back. Um, since the first one I asked is a little bit difficult, um, I would ask another one. Samuel Yekwere says GDP of any nation includes diasporans remittances. I said the Senate is aware of it and acknowledged it. This is why Tinubu is traveling abroad to plead with diasporans. A college degree by any Ron doesn't mean you are wise. Rusty says the remittance you speak of are gifts to family, not payments to government. That has always been my problem with some of my brothers in diaspora. You're right. You're right, Miss Enron. The problem is when we are having some kind of discussion, and maybe I just create a little bit, let me just give a little bit of clarity to it. Yesterday, we were having a live show, and we were discussing things that has to do with Nigeria. Samuel Yekwere came on live, and we were having too many discussions that has to do with Nigeria. And I was talking about most of our Nigerians, brother, who goes to diaspora when they move to the Western culture, and they begin to say negative things about Nigeria. And I was implying that some of them would even say, just like Uncle Rodi said the other time, that Nigeria is an animal kingdom. And I said, if Nigeria is an animal kingdom, you came from the kingdom of animal and you're in the Western culture, what does that make you? That make you an animal in a Western culture. And then we started arguing and discussing. And then Mr. Samuel Yekwere came on live and he says that the Nigerians in diaspora are giving money to the Nigerian government. He said the Nigerians in diasporas are giving Nigerian government $20 billion annually. And he said that he's going to place a bet. He said, I then asked him, I said, is it the president or the governor? He said, no, they remit that money to the Senate. That let me go and do my findings. And I said, how are Nigerians in diaspora gathering money? Some of them cannot buy a house over there. Some of them cannot afford a house to even rent. Some of them are sleeping in the street. How are they all gathering money to send it to Nigeria annually? $20 billion. Then he said they are giving it to the Nigerian Senate to make so they can share it and the money can be distributed or it can circulate among Nigerians. Then he said, if I win that particular, if I do my findings and he's wrong, he's going to pay me $100. And so we make a bet. So he said he's going to give me $100. I said, okay, no problem. So I called certain people, make few friends, touch some of the bank people, even asked me to meet with the bank assistants and the rest of it. So I made out some calls, make some inquiries, and we realized that what he said was not true. What he said was not true at all. So we came back live today, and I said, Mr. Samuel Yekwere, what you said, you saw it on Google on a particular page that have not existed for more than 5 years. Somebody just wrote it there and kept it there. It's not true. There is no account. There is no senator that you are paying any money to in Nigeria. Do you even have the account details? I asked him. He did not have. So how are you remitting the money? Then we told him today, we said, the findings we discovered is that Nigerians in diaspora, some of them send money to their family members in Nigeria. Some of their family members are to help them build a house. Some of it is to take care of their family. And so, why would you say that the money you people are sending, do you think that is the remittance you're talking about? He now said, yes, that they are not sending the money to the Senate, that they are sending money to families and they are sending it to Nigeria to circulate around the economy. And the money they are talking about is the money that you use in building house. And I said, how does the money you send to Nigeria to build a house, how does it help the economy of Nigeria, knowing fully well that the roofing sheet, the iron, the PVC, the POP, many things that we use in building houses in Nigeria, both the ties and the irons, most of these things are imported. How does that help the economy of the Nigeria? And that is where the conversation started. And so he refused to send the $100. and he starts defending and saying that, okay, now it is that they send the $20 million to Nigerians. And I'm like, how can they keep sending $20 million to Nigerian and Nigeria will still be the way it is? Why would the country be hard if the people in diaspora are actually sending $20 million to Nigeria? You are using it, you are sending it. If somebody sent it, you want to build a house. And most of the material they use to build a house are not from Nigeria. The Shangalia bulbs, every other thing does not come from Nigeria. So at the end of the day, he said, I am quoting him wrong. And thank God, while we were having the live stream, Rusty was on live. Rusty was live with me. And I'm like, please, Nigerian government are stealing our money, are stealing the money of the taxpayers and are sending it abroad to go hide the money. Are they using it to help the economy whenever they steal money from Nigeria and they put it outside the country, or are they stealing it from Nigeria and later they start taking it from wherever they took the money to? Is it helping the economy of those people, or are we just keeping our money there? So if you send money from diaspora to Nigeria and you say, I want you to use this money to build something personally for me, how does that help the economy of the country? So I am trying to know if I am an illiterate. I'm trying to know if I am not making sense. And that's the conversation we are having. And I'm like, if the money you are sending, how does it even help the economy? Because maybe 10 people are going to gather their hands together with one engineer to build your house, but all the materials are not from Nigeria. So how is it helping the economy? I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying, how does it help the economy? And if it is working, and then it says, let's speak to graduates. Graduates in university. And the graduate in university will be in a better position to explain better to us. And I'm like, okay, you know, I believe I'm a baboon. And because I'm a baboon and I live in the zoo, so I don't understand anything he's saying. Samuel Yekwere says, the man of thought, look at the Nigerian GDP publications. Simple Economics 101 teaches you that. Henry says, sounds like thieves are in the camp. Rusty says, here you go again. You don't have answer. You just tell people to go do this and that. So let me ask a question. Let me ask a question. I think this might help a little bit. Maybe Rusty will be there. If Rusty sends me, okay, Rusty use pounds over there. If Rusty sends me 100 pounds, for example, if Rusty sends me 100 pounds, for example, Miss Enron sends me $100, for example, Mr. Samuel Yekwere sends me $100, for example, just to support me while I'm doing my live stream. Does that help the economy of Nigeria? I think it's a simple question. I think we can look at it from that angle. If Enron sends me $100, Mr. Rusty sends me £100, Mr. Sam sends me $100. That's $200 and £100. Does that help the economy of Nigeria, or are you supporting what I am doing? Because you see this mic I am using. This particular mic I'm using, I wasn't using this mic before. The person who sent the money for this mic, she didn't ask me to buy the mic, but she sent it. I don't know if I have to say it. There's a person they call Miss Terry. Yeah, I would even say it. It's Miss Enron. She did a giveaway for me at some point to support, and I decided to go get a mic so that I can always have a live stream, a good live stream, so that my voice can come out. I will be more audible when I speak. Now, this particular mic that I bought with the money, the mic is not produced here in Nigeria. Yes, she did it to support me financially, to support whatever I was saying, but does that fix the problem of the economy of Nigeria, or she was supporting me individually? Samuel Yekwere says something again. Says, I am surprised at you guys understanding. Former Minister of Finance testified. So now you begin to take the Nigerian politician words serious. The same you that said that Nigerian politicians don't know, everything they say are lies, they are only manipulative, they are only misleading the Nigerians, they are not honest and the rest of it. Now you are saying that the Minister of Finance testified on something. Yes. Because it was sent for a particular person or a particular purpose. That's exactly what I was stating. It was sent to me, and the company, maybe the Nigerian bank will remove a tax from there, but that is not changing the economy of the country. It is just between I and an industry who are going to remove certain charges, or a particular company who are going to remove certain charges, which is the bank. Because until Nigeria begins to produce things for themselves, and that is the problem of the country. If Simon Yekwere has said that the Nigerians in diaspora are actually putting in their money to make sure that there is production within the country, now you would say Nigeria economy will get better. You said the microphone you bought pays the salary of the seller, and that indirectly benefits the country. Indirectly. But you said they were giving the money to Nigerian Senate directly. How is indirect and direct the same? And now you says the microphone you bought pays the salary of the seller. No, the seller makes a little bit of money. That's not their salary. Because look at it from this angle. This would have been better if Nigerians were the one producing the mic. If Nigerians were the one producing the mic, yes, it makes sense. We are not the one producing the mic. We are just importing it. So it only gives... How can a country grow? Let me even ask a question. How can a country grow without you producing anything? And if those people who are outside the country, the Nigerians in the diaspora, if you think that there's a solution to the Nigerian problem, don't you think it's about production? Shouldn't we focus on the production? If you are sending money to Nigeria, shouldn't you be sending it for the purpose of production? Because most of the Nigerians in diaspora, when they send money, I have a lot of them that are friends, and I don't ask them for nada. I have a lot of Nigerian that are in diaspora that are my friends, and I ask them for nada, nothing. Every single time, they are only interested in sending money home to their family. So they are solely taking care of their family. A majority of them are the ones who actually have wives and the rest of it in Nigeria. Which, if their wife is actually outside the country with them, they will take care of their wife in the first place. They will take care of their children in the first place. It is part of the culture of Nigerians to take care of their parents. We are talking about economy. And you're talking about it pays the salary of the seller. How many people are actually sending money to each person in Nigeria? Just because I got lucky and somebody sent me money, is that how they send it to everybody in Nigeria to go purchase something? So we are importing rice in Nigeria at the moment. We import rice to Nigeria at the moment. So if I had taken that money to go buy rice, if I had taken that money to go buy rice that we keep importing to Nigeria, and rice that was 40,000 naira has moved now to 80,000 naira. So if I had given that money and I bought rice, I and my family will just ate rice. You say the person has make profit, but when I bought it, it was 40,000 naira. Now rice has become 80,000 naira. What is the profit in it when the prices has gone up? Because we are not producing it in Nigeria. If perhaps we were producing these things in Nigeria, as I buy rice, the person might say, oh, since I have too many order, let me get more workers. And in that, they distribute the money by getting more workers, and indirectly those people start making money and they are being paid salaries. Says, I don't and say diasporans give the Senate money directly. I have made it clear 1,000 times. When you send money to a country, it's considered revenue to that country. If in recall correctly, that's from Rusty, says you made that bet because you were talking about how the government, Senate keep all the money given and don't help the country. You lost, dude. Accept it. Exactly. Produce rice in Nigeria instead of importing it from India, China. That's exactly what I was saying. Because it's only benefiting the economy of the country that we are importing those things from, not specifically our country. The Nigerian government don't have any idea. Eh, oh, an amazing word. I wish the most painful thing is this. I wish I have my PhD right now, or I have BSc. Because if I do, and then I start talking to Mr. Samoye Kwere, you know what he would say? He would have said that because my BSc and my PhD is from Nigeria, let me go outside the country. Let me move to diaspora and get an original certificate and go to a different university because Nigeria education is messed up. That's what he would have said. So right now he's leading us and asking us to go and meet a graduate. You ask me to go and meet a bank assistant to confirm that what is the account. Okay, why did you ask me to go and meet a bank assistant? That Nigerians in diaspora are sending money to the Nigerian Senate account. So to share the money among the people. Why were you emphasizing that I should go to the bank? At least Mr. Rusty can confirm this. Why did you ask me to go to the bank if it is for me to go confirm that particular statement? You said I should go to the bank. You would have asked me to Google it. And I told him, I said I was going to go to the bank and record it. Whatever they say. And you said, let me go to any bank of my choice in Nigeria. And I was asking you, I said, there is GT Bank, there is First Bank, there's Union Bank, there is UBA. We have many kinds of bank in Nigeria. I'm asking you, which specific bank, so you would not say that I'm being misled. And I will go to the assistants of the bank and ask them. Now you start playing football like Ronaldinho and Messi. You start turning the conversation. You miss the whole conversation and you are playing everything like politicians. You make the issue sound worse like Kamala Harris and Donald Trump combined. And you remember when I started yesterday's episode, I started by singing a song. And I sang that song clearly. And I said that song came from Baba Fela. And the song goes like this. He said, Kolo mentality. If you say you be colonial man, you done the crazy before. They don't release you now, but you never release it yourself. I say you fit it, never release yourself. Kolo mentality. If you say you be colonial man, you done the crazy before. They don't release you now, but you never release it yourself. It be so. It be so, then they do, then they overdo all the things that they do. It be so, then they do, say the better pass them, brother. No be so, it be so. Kolo mentality now make you hear me now. Let me explain that particular thing. No matter how educated you are, Samoye Kwere, you can never be educated more than Baba Fela. He said, colonization mentality is a mentality that most Nigerians now have during that time. He said that colon mentality, you might have been free physically. There might not be a chain on your hands and in your neck and on your head, but you still have the mentality of colonization. And the mentality of colonization is a mentality of a superior versus an inferior. And you can see when we were having our conversation, you were saying that we should go to the university and go and meet a professor and go and meet somebody simply because you think that our mentality is inferior and your mentality is superior. And then you say talk with an intellectual, and you that you tend to be an intellectual cannot explain to the unintellectual for them to understand. And then you ask me, you said I should go to the bank to meet somebody and ask a bank official about the money that the diasporas are sending to Nigerians, and they will have the details. You see? Nice. Everyone says, at Sam, in US, there are so many people living on streets with college degree. So it's good to have, but it still doesn't give the person wisdom. Manipulation on the highest level. Rossi says, Sam, they didn't make the bet. You did, and you lost. That's the truth. That's what Rusty exactly. I didn't bet with Samoye Kwere. I did not bet. He just said he's going to bet $100. I was like, wow. Do you know what $100 can do for a Nigerian at this time? It's going to put food on a lot of people's table. A lot of reach out. And now you just turn everything to Ronaldinho and the rest of it. And initially I started this conversation, there were a lot of things I wrote today that I wanted to discuss about. Many things I wrote today to make the subject interesting. Samoye Kwere came and interrupted, and I said, okay, I've done the findings. What you said is not true. And he started turning the whole thing upside down. And when I said, okay, leave the money stuff. Don't worry about the money. I don't want problem. Don't worry about the money. I can't argue with you because of the money. But then you keep emphasizing on different kind of things, and you start dribbling the whole word. And that's wow. I should read about GDP. So I don't know what GDP is. Your statements and the GDP and the PDG and the PDD that you're talking about does not change what you said yesterday and what you bet yesterday. And now you're switching the whole thing. Read about GDP. ChatGPT would tell everybody everything about GDP. GDP, DDP, PDD doesn't change anything. You make a statement, and right now you can say you retract your statement. Sorry, you don't have money to give out. There's no shame in that. In fact, I'm not even asking. But then you want to seem to be right every single time. You always want to make Nigerians. This is a problem. See, the problem of the country, Nigeria, is two things. And the problem of Nigeria are two things. And I think maybe there are more than that, but I would basically say two. Two in a sense, like we have the problem with education. And I use the word education simply because it's not the kind of, I'm not talking about indoctrination. I'm saying real education. And a real education is not just the education where you go to school and you go carry all kinds of book. No, that's not what I'm saying. Oh, welcome. Thanks for joining, Lisa. It is not that type of education I'm talking about. I'm talking about real proper education, the African education, the African culture education of Nigeria to know how to think as a Nigerian, promoting the culture and traditions and building upon our culture and tradition. That is the education I'm talking about, which implies other things like reading, knowing how to read, because we used to have a language, we used to read our language, we used to write our language until we started studying what do they call it? We started studying English language of the Western culture. And now we go into history and they start removing things from history. Everything they do is to benefit the Western culture. And I'm not against it. I'm just like, if we understand us and we understand theirs, it would help us. Then, um, apart from education, what is our problem? And we have to build our characters to become better people. And when I use the word character, is we need to start building our nation from the foundation. We can't fix Nigeria from where we are right now. We can fix Nigeria from the bottom. If we start going into production, if we start deciding to teach our people how to produce, if we start going into farming, if we start going into agriculture, if we start not just focusing on just the oil and gas and the petroleum and all those kind of stuff. But what wasn't the issue is that some of you that have been in the Western culture for a while, you start thinking that we don't know what we are saying. Then some of you say, I've been in the Western culture, I've been in America, I've left Nigeria since when I was 25, I've been in America since when for almost 65 years, I've been in America for more than 90 years. Just because you change your country doesn't mean you've changed your mind. And then some of you will say, Nigeria is an animal kingdom. And I'm like, okay, good for you. If Nigeria is an animal kingdom, you came from the kingdom of an animal. What does that make you? Animal in the Western culture. No wonder. No wonder Donald Trump said, they are eating the dogs, they are eating the cats, they are eating the pets of the people that live there. How are you not sure it is the kingdom? It is the animals that came from the kingdom of Africa that went to the Western culture that are the ones probably eating it. Say you appreciate my knowledge. Oh, Jesus Christ. You appreciate my knowledge to you. Me, okay. Nigerian politicians go abroad soliciting for money and investment in Nigeria. When diasporans build projects in Nigeria, it contributes to Nigeria economy. You see, your case is like Pastor E.A. Adeboye. Your case, Samoye Kwere, your case is like Pastor E.A. Adeboye. Pastor E.A. Adeboye, for countless of years, for more than 40 years, he told the church members that paying your tithe and your offering is going to be a ticket for you to make heaven. And he said it for 40 years. That is 4 decades. And when he's 82, when he begins to see his ancestors in the dream, just this same week, Pastor E.A. Adeboye told his church members that I was wrong. After he has bought private jets, built houses, built mansions, did a lot of things in his life, now he came up to his church members and he said that I was wrong. Just because you are writing big English, it's not going to change the fact that you are wrong. You can keep repeating it, repeating it, repeating it. You can stimulate the mentality of the ignorant people. I am not part of them. I am not a fool. I wouldn't blow my trumpet to tell you the kind of people I sit with. You see, every Saturday, or most likely every last Saturday of the month, there are countless of diasporans, countless in this estate. There are countless of diasporans that will make Zoom meeting, that will discuss about subjects, anything that has to do with the estate's property, knowledge, spirituality, anything, every Sunday.
And I'm not talking about 10 diasporans. I'm not talking about 20 diasporans. We are talking about 100. And I have conversations with them every last Saturday of the month, and a lot of them call me from diaspora when we are talking about from the Western culture, from different parts of the world, and we discuss at length on many things. So if you think GDP and PDD discussion is what you can use to bobo my head at this time, just the problem is ego. One beautiful thing I know about my life is this: if I'm wrong, I will just tell you I was wrong, because wasting my time to acknowledge my mistake is true. I call it GDP PDD. Wasting my time and living on my ignorance, wrestling what I know is the truth, does not change the reality. You can lie to yourself over and over when you have the opportunity to see the light, and you keep repeating lies. You would believe your lies to a point whereby you become the master of your own enslavement. And I always say this: no wonder Bob Marley would say, emancipate yourself from mental slavery, which it means that you are the one putting yourself in the shackles, or you're the one putting the shackles on your hands, and you can liberate yourself when you fully make the decision to accept the truth. Mr. Samuel Yekwere, big grammar does not change the reality that you lose this particular conversation. You place the bet of $100, you lose it. Pay the $100 you don't want to pay it. I'm not asking you, and I'm not holding you. I can't stretch my hands through the phone to hold your clothes as a typical Nigerian man and drag you out and ask you that you must pay. But you keep repeating it. We're trying to have a great conversation today. I wrote a lot of topics that we would have touched on. You did not allow us move forward. You keep defending. Like Nigeria, what did they call it? Pledge. I pledge to Nigeria, my country, to be faithful, loyal, and honest. Like you are defending your speech. Why? If you are that, if you are now telling us, people like me, you told Rusty, you are telling every single one of us to go and meet educated people, to go to institutions, to go and meet professionals and the rest of it. If you are so educated, you should go and debate Dr. Umar Johnson. Go and debate Candace Owen. Go and debate Joe Rogan. See, let me say this. Whatever struggle Africans are going through, most of the Nigerians in diaspora and many African countries, we are all experiencing the same thing. Until our motherland is good, until our motherland is okay, you people will just keep flying all over the world like birds. It's not going to change anything. Most of you life is not that better than we that we are in Africa. Our life is fact is more meaningful than a lot of people who are flying like birds on plane going towards the whole Africans, taking job from other people and the rest of it. You ain't changing anything. You have to accept the truth, know your mistake, and correct yourself. And when you try to tell me, oh, you are going to give me the $100, you think $100 is I'm suffering of $100? Because you bet $100, you think $100 will change my word? Oh, I haven't seen 100. You lost it. If you had just dropped your ego and just either send the $100 or just keep quiet, I'm not asking you for it. I said, oh, you probably made a mistake. It's probably a mistake. And now you are defending it. I don't know which one you are actually defending. I don't know if you are defending the diasporans or you are defending Nigeria. Now you are saying GDP. This is why the Senate is trying to allow Nigerian diasporas to vote because of their financial contributions to Nigeria economy. That actually makes sense. That actually makes sense. I believe what you said right now, and you actually made sense, a lot of sense. And I'll repeat it one more time. You said this is why the Senate is trying to allow Nigeria diasporans to vote because of their financial contributions to Nigeria economy. That was actually amazing. How do you think your vote is going to count when you know that we keep rigging election in Nigeria? That means whatever votes people vote, they are stealing ballot boxes. So if they can steal the physical voting, what do you think is going to be your own vote from diaspora to Nigeria? Now, I'm not arguing it with you. I'm just saying, just because a Senate says you can vote, what makes you think your vote will count? The people who actually vote here physically, they are carrying guns, bomb and bullets and collecting the ballot box and running away. I met some people in prison who told me that that was their job. So you think that if they give you the right to vote in diaspora, you think all of you, the 20 million, if all of you vote, it's not going to reflect anywhere? Ah. Do you think your vote will count? That should be the question. Do you think your vote will count? If for more than 30 years, Nigerians are still taking ballot boxes, there was one that happened before Tinubu came into power. There's a guy they call MC Oluomo. You can check it on Google right now. There's a man they call MC Oluomo, who, when they were voting, he was telling all the Igbos not to vote. If you are from the eastern part, MC Oluomo will tell you to go. If you are not voting for Tinubu, he will tell you, if you don't vote for Tinubu, don't vote, or else he's going to beat you up. They still did it last year. So now Senate is telling you that for your contribution, we are going to give you rights to be voting from diaspora to Nigeria, and then you think that your vote is going to count. For you to even believe it shows the difference of intelligence between you and me. And I'm not saying I'm more intelligent than you. I'm saying I'm more realistic than you. I'm not saying I'm more intelligent than you. I'm saying I'm more realistic than you. So that means you are living in a metaphoric world. You know, Yoruba will say a statement. Yoruba will say, Igimuji no sori. Oh, you said, I am glad you finally got the point. Rigging elections has nothing to do with diasporans' contributions. We saw that rascality. You see, you make a point for me. And the point you make is this: do not argue with somebody who you don't know where they stand. Maybe you are here or you are here. You have to be on one side. Standing in the fence of life does not put you in any part. Are you for the government or are you against the government? You talk about the rascality, or are you supporting the Nigerian government? You said they wanted to give you opportunity. You said that the opportunity is going to be true. The Senate has given the Nigerians in diaspora to be able to vote. I'm saying now that things are bad and everything I say, you switch. Your write-up is doing leg over, like you are playing football on the field. Americans diasporans vote across the globe, except in Nigeria, they don't vote. And even if they said that you are going to vote, the question is this: we that we are in Nigeria, we have to physically be there. And regardless of the fact that we are physically there, we are using the paper and our national ID and voters card to go vote. You that you are there, you know our technology here, our database is messed up. And now you are expecting that miraculously you are going to vote from the UK or from the US and it's going to reflect in the Nigerian database, knowing that our network would go off. It's a shame that 220 million Nigerians are held in bondage by a few. It's a big shame. Is that why you refuse to give me my $100? Is that why you refuse to give me my $100? Every country goes through their challenges. Every country goes through their challenges. You see, let me say this. I do not rejoice at the downfall of Nigeria. I do not rejoice at the struggle. In fact, I struggle more just to be able to be part to help the people in my country, my community, and the rest of it. I care about, when I say I care about Nigeria, I am not talking about caring with the word of mouth. I truly, truly care about my country. But you see, the idea of making a country get better is not about those who run out of their country and take the jobs of other people and then they begin to talk down on their own nation. You can't fix a country by talking down on your nation. I am a Nigerian and I'm a proud Nigerian. And I will say this: I could have been in many places at this point in my life. There are many great things. Trust me, if I had taken the offers that have been given to me, Mr. Samuel Yekwere, whatever you have had in any country, I would have times 2 or times 3 of it. But if I run out of the country and I pay attention to what can only benefit me, and there is no way that I know these things would most likely benefit, because a lot of people count on me at this particular time, that I can reach out to, that I can help in one way or the other. I believe this, that running away from the country just because I want a sacred and I want a better life for me. I know the safer place to stay in Nigeria. I know there are many better safe place for every Nigerian to stay. And so I make a decision to stay in the safe place and to do my work as a Nigerian and inspire Nigerians and Nigerian youth to see the right thing they can do to help us, to help our economy. If the Nigerian youth only can gather themselves together and start working in the agricultural space, we can change Nigeria. Not for us to go and start writing big English. It is not about speaking big English and you telling us that I don't know what I'm saying. Let me go and meet one person in college. Let me go and meet one person in institution that has his PhD or BSc or STD. All those things are not what is going to change Nigeria, because a lot of you who are there, who are in the diasporans who have been there, I want to ask you a question. Most of you do not have houses. Most of you do not have properties. Most of you sleep on the street. Most of you are hungry. Most of you don't have food to eat. This is not a shocking news. And you people will be there and think that Nigeria, there's nothing good about Nigeria. A lot of Nigerians are sold their property just to travel outside the country and they have nothing. And then you are defending. When you defend the country this way and I come to attack your defense, then you come to the aha. You fight like Tyson Fury. All angles. Oh my God. Oh my God. And you wouldn't let me be. You wouldn't let the conversation go. Whenever I'm moving forward, I tried many times to move forward and you just came back and keep talking on your defense stuff and you ruined the conversation. Rusty, you can only take a horse to the river but can't force the horse to drink. Who is the horse? Mr. Sam, who is the horse? Who is the horse that they take to the river and they can't force them to drink? I hope I'm not the horse. Because you know Nigeria is an animal kingdom according to most of you there. So I hope I'm not a horse. At least if I'm a horse, I can run away from danger. But let me assume I'm not a horse. So I don't know what river, what water you want me to drink at this particular time. Maybe the water of indoctrination, the water of manipulation, the water of lies. Is that the water you want us to drink? You can take a horse to the. Let me even rephrase it. Let me say, peradventure is actually talking to Rusty. He says, I am just trying to enhance your knowledge about nations' economic systems. What benefits does it do to my economy, to Nigeria? Or what benefits does it do to me? You said, I am just trying to enhance. Enhance. When you say enhance, enhance is more or less like empower your knowledge about nation's economic system. And I'm asking you, how does it help me as a person and how does it help Nigeria as a nation? I want to know how it enhanced me and how it enhanced the nation. If I take your advice, how does it enhance me? At least now I am open. I'm open-minded. So in opening up my mind, I think this is the points where you can teach me something. For you to say you are trying to enhance me, let me say for the sake of the $100, you bet the $100. I went and I did the research, and now you are boboing me on that. Now you said you want to enhance my knowledge. If you are actually enhancing my knowledge, I want to know how it's going to benefit me. If I know about nation's economic, how is it going to benefit me as an individual, one person, as just me? Or it's just a waste of my data on a live stream where I could have said things that are inspiring, that are more knowledgeable, that are things that people can apply to their life, where we can reason as people. And there's a possibility also that somebody might say, oh, this guy, I love what you said. I Let me seek more information from you, and says, okay, can I support you, what you're doing? Can I support your administration? Can I support your community? Can I support this? Can I understand something? I can build relationship. In that, a lot of people are passing by and they are streaming. As they are live streaming, some people will just come and they scroll and they look at me and they see the conversation I'm having about Nigeria, and it doesn't interest them. These people could have subscribed to my channel, and we did not. I have lost all kinds of benefits, including your $100. And now you say you are giving me a knowledge that is going to enhance me. And I'm asking, how does it enhance me? After we waste 1 hour 1 hour 51 minutes 48 seconds on discussing on where there is no answer. Economic one. Why is this man with 101? Okay, for the sake of reading. Economics 101 teaches you that when a money exchange hands, it gets into circulation, thereby boosting the nation's economy. Immediately you wrote it. There's a song that just played in my head. I've forgotten the name of the person. It says, and I speak to myself, what a wonderful world. And I speak to myself, what a wonderful world. I have it on my laptop, but I don't know the name of the person. But I can find the name. Economics 101. 101. 101 is first level of economics and financial studies. I asked you a question when you said you wanted. You see, this one good thing about Samuel Ekwere. When I ask you a question and you cannot defend that question, you just move to the next one. And that's what Kamala Harris is always doing. The first time I had an issue with you was when you said you were going to vote Kamala Harris. And trust me, I understand that everybody have their right to vote whoever they want. But when you use the word Kamala Harris and you started defending Kamala Harris, when she went to debate Donald Trump, you can see that whenever they ask Kamala Harris any question, she always have one answer. And the answer is, I came from a middle class. My mom worked so hard, and she worked so hard that she bought us a small house. And when she bought a small house, there's one woman. That woman, I don't always know who that woman is. There's another woman who we call her our sweet mother or our good mother, who take care of us when my mother goes to work, and blah blah blah. And then she can go to 1 million interview. And if you ask Kamala Harris about the economy of the US, if you ask her as a vice president, if you ask her anything in this life, Kamala Harris will go to, I came from a small background, we were poor, and my mother worked so hard from a middle class, she worked so hard and she bought a house. That is when I started having some kind of feelings like, this Samuel Ekwere, I hope you will not also be answering some things like Kamala Harris. When they ask question, you jump to the next. They ask this one, you jump to this. They ask this one, you just, oh, blood of God. And at the end of the day, you say you want to educate me. I said, okay, what is the knowledge you are going to impart that will be useful to me? You did not answer that. You jumped to Economic 101. And I know if I continue, you will proceed and you will move to Economic 202, 303, 404. Before Economic 505, my phone would have exploded. No, Rusty, let's not ban him. Let's not ban him. We can't. No, Samuel Yekwere is very important. Sometimes we get to situations like this. You ask a question, you said, Rusty can debate only insult. um, Samuel Yekwere said, Rusty, did you attend a university? No. Rusty did not attend a university. I haven't seen Rusty, we haven't spoken, but I would say Rusty did not attend university. But you know what Rusty has done? Rusty has supported this channel, and I know few things that Rusty has done to many people that are very helpful. Financially, in emotionally, physically, in every way, Rusty has done it. And it's not just to me. Rusty has done it. Samuel Yekwere, you've been to university. What have you done to enhance the life of people? And when I tell you this, if I was using the StreamYard, I can screenshot certain conversation that I have had with Rusty. I can screenshot all kinds of conversation I've had with Rusty and the support that Rusty has given, not just to me, not just to my channel, not just to Nigerians, to many different channels. And you will be amazed what he has done. And then bring it back to you who has been to the university and you're a graduate. And the question will be, what have you done to enhance the life of other people? You don't have to be curious about university. You have to be curious with what you're doing with your time and your life that you live. Nobody is trying to belittle you. You could not admit when you are wrong. And that's the problem. And why is it, you see, most people who classify themselves to be educated, I mostly talk about indoctrination. And there's a specific reason why I'm saying indoctrination, not education. You always think that if you're educated, if other people are not educated, then you that tends to be educated cannot explain it to those who are not educated. And so it's more or less like a religious belief. This is just a civil religious mindset. And the distinction is not that much. Because a believer, a religious believer, is the only one who believes that I believe in God and I go to church and I pray and fast, and because you don't do the same thing that I do, you are going to hell. In fact, it gets to a point where it became worse that someone who tends to be who is a Christian, who also believes that his brother who tends to be a Muslim, they are both serving the same God, but because they are not practicing the same thing, both of them would take gun and they shoot each other. And now you also have the same mind that you say, I am educated. If you are educated, the best thing you can do is to explain to the non-educated so you can inform them. But every conversation that you lose, you always talk about, oh, go to the university. Not everybody are interested in the university. Not everybody are interested in the university. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong about it. I'm just saying there are a lot of people who have this indoctrination in their mindset, and they think that the qualification of the paper they have has given them the key to knowledge and giving them the key to wisdom to solve all the problem in life. And then if you are so wise and so intelligent, the question is, why not bring that same knowledge you have and come fix Nigeria? And then you said, I have helped a lot of people in America and Nigeria. And then you promised your own brother, your own, well, I don't know if I'm your brother, because most of you in diaspora think Nigeria is an animal kingdom. So you are helping people in Nigeria, and you bet this is the first time. I never asked you for money. I've never come on live and say, oh, please, everybody help me for money. I was having a conversation, and you said you are going to bet $100 if I can do a little bit of findings of something that you said. And now I came back, and you asked me to go to the bank, and I did some research, and I bring back the answer to you, and you cannot admit that you're wrong, and you cannot pay the $100. And then you wasted 2 hours of live stream. And I've asked you many questions. I talked about rice as an example. I talked about the mic as an example. I said somebody sent money, and I used that money to buy the mic. But the mic is not produced in Nigeria. So if you send me money to buy the mic, it does not help the economy of Nigeria, but it helps the economy of the people who produce the mic. And I'm saying the problem of Nigeria is we need to start producing things. If you give me the same money and I go buy a bag of rice, and the rice is coming from a different nation to my nation, is it helping me as a nation? It might help me to survive, but it's not helping my economy of the country. It's not helping the economy of the country. And if it's the $20 billion you're talking about is actually coming to Nigeria, and it is a money that is circulating, do you think Nigeria will still be in the condition they are in? Rusty says, as I told you the other day, the man of thought, the first thing Nigeria needs to do is have industrial growth. LOL. That's exactly what I've been saying. And this is the reason why I think that Nigeria need not just somebody who is going to blab and speak big grammar. We need somebody who will physically be here and show the youth how to do things. I'm not saying I'm going to make the change. I don't think I can make the change alone, but I think that bringing this conversation up and talking to my Nigerian brothers and sisters, encouraging them to understand that, okay, there's a problem we have, like most Nigerians are in the Lagos. Let some of them come out of the state and start investing, knowing that we have vast land where we can do agriculture. Stop lying on insurgency. We can make this country better. If everybody can start investing into agriculture. Now you're talking of 101, economic 101, economic 101, economic 202. Rusty, from day one, I said the Nigerian Senate has acknowledged diaspora's 20 billion remittance to Nigeria yearly. The man of thought, you have not gone to a bank. Banks in Nigeria are closed on weekends. I said I make a call. Do you think that just because I don't go to the bank, I can't make a call? On weekends, I can't make a call? And I told you already that there are many things. Everybody knows how connected they are, and everybody knows how they get their information. And you admitted, you said the Senate are aware of it. Now, why would you say that why would you specifically say Senate? If it is acknowledged by the government, you would have just said Nigerian government. And I believe Rusty would listen to this. I specifically told you, is it the Nigerian president? Is it the Nigerian governors? So you specifically said it is the Nigerian Senate. So why would you ask me to ask from the Nigerian Senate if that is not what you're implying? Because the governors should be aware, and even a dead person knows that people in diaspora send money to Nigeria, Nigeria send money to people in diaspora. A dead man will tell you this. So it is not a new thing. And you make it look as if, and you are specifically telling me that it's Nigerian Senate and let me go to the bank. So you wanted me to go to the bank to verify what? That Nigerians in diaspora used to send money to Nigeria. So I have never received money from people in diaspora. So you said Nigeria is 220 million people with devalued currency. California state alone generates more money than the entire continent. My question is that, are you proud of it? Are you proud of yourself? And what are you doing to support the country to make sure that your country gets better? Let's say Nigeria is 200 and let us say Nigeria is 400 million people with devalued currency. California state alone generates more money than the entire African continent. I'm asking you, what's relevant is it to us? What's relevant is it to you, because you are not them? So let's assume I am very ignorant, or let's assume I am not proud of Nigeria, and I have the same mentality you have. So what I would do is I would leave Nigeria. I just have to sell one property, take up my family, and we move out of the country. I go to a different country, I find a job, I add it up with my social media stuff, because then I can open my PayPal account and YouTube would not be taking almost 60% of my money, and I'm making more money because I'm now in the US and I'm using a different IP. And so me and my family, we are doing well. So you and I will start having conversations like this. And all our conversation is how bad Nigeria is. We keep talking of how bad our motherland is. That is the conversation you and I will keep talking about. Let me ask you a few personal questions. How many houses do you have outside the country you have? How many investments or properties you have? Forget the government that will give you something monthly and they will take care of you when you are very old and you are shaking and the rest of it. No, I'm just asking, what have you done to contribute to the economy of California? What have you contributed to the economy of California, Mr. Simon Yekwere? What have you contributed to the nation of the United States? At least the black Americans over there, they worked their ass off to make that country great. They worked with everybody there. I'm not saying it is just the only black Americans. I said black Americans and others work together to make that nation great. So there is no way anyone would say that the black Americans are not part of the success of the US. You that tends to be a Nigeria that goes to US, invest. Nigeria, we should create an enabling and secured environment. Investors will come. Money and investments go to safe places. See India, Singapore, Japan, China, Malaysia, Brazil, etc. Look at how you listed too many countries. You had a lot of time to list this amount of countries. We don't even know if you stand for Nigeria or if you don't stand for Nigeria. If you love Nigeria or if you hate Nigeria. We don't understand the state of your mind. And I think it is not your fault, it is my fault. The only reason why whatever you have been saying, I kind of engage with it is basically because I see you as, these are my Nigerian brothers and sisters, so let's just discuss. If you are from a different country and you are saying it and you are not, I wouldn't have even answered you. Long time ago, before Rusty says, oh, should be banned, I would have done the banning. Because now you want to start bringing solutions. I ask you a question now again. Before you start talking, if I say another thing now, you talk of economic 101. You talk of economic 202. You talk of university. I'm asking you, what is your contribution? You say California is richer than the whole African continent. I'm asking you a question. I said, what is your contribution to America? Rusty says, Sam, you admit, you cannot use, Rusty, you cannot use the word of Sam to hold Sam. This one is Samson. Samson. Like, no matter the bondage you use to tie him, you know the Samson in the Bible, no matter the bondage you use to tie him, he will cut it off. If you say what he has said before, you try to rephrase whatever you have said, even if you catch him on 4K camera, he will deny you. Even ChatGPT should record it. He will deny it. He will go back to economic 101. Samoyekwere, Rusty, I want to ask you a question. Maybe this is just a pattern that I am not understanding. Eddie Road is laughing. Rusty, I want to ask you a question. Don't you think Samoyekwere is sounding like 7? Because to me, it seems as if he's sounding like 7. Yes. You know, 7 can tell you something. 7 would say that the toilet paper is not a good one. And then you'd say, then I, as a host of the conversation, I would say, why did you say that the toilet paper is not a good one? Then he will say something like, I brush my teeth with close up. That's the response he will give you. Say, I brush my teeth with close up, and the toothbrush hurts my mouth. And I'm like, you just said something about the toilet paper, and now you talk about close up brushing your teeth. Okay, let's focus on close up brushing your teeth now. The next answer is going to reply is, my television just came up right now and the thing just got burnt. And then we want to go there, and then he might say that my clothes just fell off. And it's like you cannot hold him on any conversation. It's like their mind is wow. Oh, you said 7 is too dumb. Oh, blood of God. Oh God. What a life. But but honestly, on a serious note, it's a privilege talking to somebody like Samuel Yekwere. It's a privilege having this conversation today, because I think this conversation being on a live stream, and then I'm going to post it and it's going to be live. I think when I get to the age of maybe 55, 60, 70, I will just look at some of my experience in my life and see the kind of people I once had conversation with. And I will look back and I will say, ah, Kola, you have tried. For you to be able to have this discussion with this kind of people, you have tried. You really have the interest of your Nigerian brothers. This one actually messed with your head. You see, if I truly believed in therapy, after this conversation I had with Samuel Yekwere, I am supposed to go for a therapy tomorrow to check if my brain is still intact, if I had not lost it or something has gone wrong with me. Because he has been dribbling my head, dribbling me since morning for more than 2 hours. No bus stop. When I decide to hold him here, he fly here, economic 101, university economic 202, university economic 303. He says, see, I should go and meet senator. He said I should go to the bank. If from bank, he said the governor are not aware. Now he said governors are aware. He says economic growth. GDP, PDD, all kinds of things. Sean Combs. Then he asked of PhD, university, BSc, STD, HIV, all kinds of qualification just to have civil conversations. What an amazing word. It's funny. It's a good memory. So the painful part of all this, I'm glad I had a conversation with you. At least I understand the state of mind. And so I realized, okay, whenever we're having some conversations, there are certain things I don't need to reply or respond to. The painful part of it, because I just have that knowledge. That's the knowledge I gain from this conversation, that there are certain things I would not respond to when I'm having a conversation. But the painful part of it is I wasted the time of those who would have come here and have a great conversation with me. And they would have been able to benefit something great. That is the most painful part of all this. And I wasted their time for up to 2 hours, 20 minutes, thinking that I would be able to end up this conversation and focus on something that will be positive in people's life. But rather, I just chase the shadow. Sometimes anybody can fall into this. Oh, he still wrote again. Oh, Sam, where wish the economic growth you speak of? You are literally saying no investors, everyone leaving. During my years growing up in Nigeria, we enjoyed Nigeria and Nigeria was the envy of the world. Sorry, you guys got too worst of Nigeria. I sympathize with you guys. My generation stole your future. Samoye Query. Samoye Query. Let me respond to you, hoping that it is a good conversation that we are having. Since you have wasted our time, let me just waste it with you. You said, during my years growing up in Nigeria, we enjoyed Nigeria and Nigeria was the envy of the world. Let us accept it, Mr. Rusty. Don't argue. He says, sorry, you guys got to worst of Nigeria. I sympathize with you guys. My generation stole your future. That is an admission. And you didn't say there was a generation that stole the future of Nigeria. You say your generation stole the future of Nigeria. So that means you are implying that you are part of. That means you are implying that you are part of. No wonder I was asking. No wonder, yeah. Miss Enron says it's okay, the man of thought. This was a great conversation. Oh, thank God they find good in the bad things. I appreciate that. Well, if you stole the future of Nigeria, there's no economic growth. 1 point for me. 1 point for me. Yeah. I really don't want to call names. That's why I just leave it at that. And no wonder I was asking a question like, what's your participation in helping the Americans' economy? What do you think you have been doing? He said he has been helping America and Nigeria. The same Nigeria you badmouth every single time, you're helping the nation by badmouthing the nation. Did Samoye Kwere know that there's what we call Chat GPT? Chat GPT is better than Google. You are still talking about Google, that we should go and Google 9% annual return Nigeria history. Go to Chat GPT. Do you know about there are many applications now. You are only going about Google now. Google is no more trusted. Google is outdated. And you are every conversation you're asking us to go Google it. America was doing fine in the 60s. United Kingdom was doing fine in the 60s. Many Asian countries were doing fine in the 60s. Europe country was doing fine in the 60s. Ah, Agonile Unile Makago. What will be your final statement for today's live stream, Mr. Samoye Kwere? Because you have become the topic of the day, the Nigerian that badmouths Nigeria. What will be your final stream? Let's say, for example, God is about to blow the trumpet, because I think you should be going to church. But if you are not, I'll be disappointed. And if you go, I would also be disappointed, because if you're not going, I would be disappointed in a sense, like you keep talking education, information, and you are talking like you're perfect and all those kind of stuff. So I'll be disappointed that you don't go to church. And if you go to church, I'll be disappointed that somebody who goes to church can still badmouth his nation. So I'll be disappointed in both. So, but my question is like, perhaps, let's just put it, hypothetically speaking, that God is about to blow the trumpet and you have one last word to say to Nigerians. What will be the word that you will give to Nigerians, your best advice or your last comment to Nigerians? Let's just put it. You know, Pastor Adeboye, EA Adeboye also, is 82, and right now, oh, he has given his answer. Now let's read it. Senator Godswill Akpabio celebrated his 60th birthday. This will be the last conversation you will have if today tends to be the end of life. Like you are about, the trumpet is about to sound right now, and you are just to go to heaven. Now you will say, the last comment you would say is that to Nigerians, you will say Senator Godswill Akpabio celebrated his 60th birthday in the stadium and Remi attended. In America, Akpabio will be in jail cooling off. That will be your last word if you had any opportunity to have comments to or say anything to Nigeria if God was about to blow the trumpet and today tends to be the last day. Oh God. This man will kill my battery. Samuel Yekwere has a plan to kill the battery of my phone. Even though I'm using solar, you want to kill the battery of my phone. It's like you are deliberate. Oh, well, it's a great conversation. Having a great conversation with you guys, and thanks for those who are patient to have been part of today's talk. At least I've learned one thing. Certain things I'm not going to respond to in the nearest future when I'm having conversation. Sometimes I might just have to put out what we call fund funding, because if I put it on fan funding or something like that, uh, to some, I don't know if I can do it to some people, but I think I can just put it that way. So whenever I want to have a good conversation, I will first of all maybe put it on fan funding, pass my message, and then for there to be any conversation, I would now turn it off and put it for all message to be able, for me to be able to read messages. So at least by then, a lot of you would have received a good message, or we would have a good, I would have at least give out my own information out before any other thing. But that's what I learned today. So next time it's going to be a good conversation. Samuel Yekwere says that Tinubu spent 19 billion naira for IH program this year. If in America, it will be jail too. Thank you everybody for your patience. Thank you everybody for your patience. I'm sorry. I apologize on behalf of me and Samuel Yekwere. I'm sorry. Every other person who have watched me today on the live, I am very sorry I broke your heart. Samuel Yekwere enhanced me to break your heart. Please forgive me. In the nearest future, I will do better. I hope I don't want to say more than that. With that being said, have a great day. Pray before you sleep. I believe in prayers. I may not talk about religion things, but I believe in prayers. Take care of yourself. Have a great day. See you in the next one. Rusty, Samuel Yekwere, thank you for your conversation. Trust me, I have nothing against Samuel Yekwere. I enjoy whatever you say. This is why people refer to Nigeria as a zoo. Thank you. You are still my brother, regardless of your opinion, and I understand. Indoctrination is a big thing. So next time we are still going to have a great conversation. Thank you, Samuel Yekwere, for joining. And Ron, Lisa, and every other person who has joined today. Hope to have great conversations with you. Have a great night, especially Samuel Yekwere. You would need to sleep very well this night. At least you have been able to express yourself for about a few hours, and you've talked a lot, but There's nothing. You still ask me to go Google. You want to kill me with Google. Thank you. Bye bye.